Climber, after you've done the work to make a few connections in the music business, how do you stay in contact without wearing out your welcome? Or, on the other hand, how do you keep from being totally forgotten? So, how do you show up consistently, but also positively? Well, in today's episode, we're going to reveal several ways to keep your music business contacts smiling when they see you coming. So, listen up. Johnny, do that thing.
Welcome to the Climb! This is a show dedicated to helping singers and songwriters like humans to get leverage in the music business. Leverage is the name of the game. They're not going to do it for you. You have to do it yourself. That's the bad news. It's also the good news because you don't need anybody's permission. You just got to be a student of the game. You can take good music and get it in front of the right people, meaning fans, not industry people, and they're going to start embracing you. That's going to start creating cash. That's going to start creating exposure. It's going to start making a brand name, and that creates leverage. That's what this is about as a songwriter. Need some cuts, man. Look at what I did. I got some cuts. These people like my music enough to cut it. So, wow, you got cuts? You got 30 independent cuts? Let's sit down and have a conversation for this publishing company. I like your music too. Let's see what's going on here. Right? They're going to be interested in that. That's why we call it the C.L.I.M.B, C.L.I.M.B. That is a Baxternym, creating leverage in the music business. From my good friend and co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter. He's got hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady A, Joe Nichols, and more. And he helps songwriters like you turn pro by revealing how you write like a pro, do business like a pro, and then he puts you in touch with the pros. You can find Brent very easily at songwritingpro.com.
And I would like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. They're breaking artists digitally by identifying new fans through data. If you're an artist looking to increase your streams, blow up your video views, sell more live show tickets, and get discovered by new fans, TV, and music industry pros, then Daredevil Production can help. Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That is production, singular, no S, and there's no S because there is no other Johnny D.
Hey, buddy, we just we need to get right to work, don't we? Because
We do. We're stacking them up today. We got some stuff I'm excited about now and also in our next episode. So, yeah.
So we're going to learn how to stay in contact with industry people without wearing out your welcome.
That's right. I've been blessed to make a lot of connections in the music business over the years. But these days, the industry is more spread out than probably ever before since it, first kind of consolidated in New York, LA, and Nashville. Music Row isn't the industry hub that it used to be, where like you'd run into folks at lunch or at the Ackland post office or whatever. Condos have taken over. The industry is like spread out around town. You got stuff going on Berry Hill, in WeHo, in Franklin, and all this other stuff. And a lot of us live out of town these days and don't even go downtown that often. So, since I can't count on bumping into people at shows or on demembering at lunch or whatever, and at different publishing companies like I used to, like either I may not be in town, they're not in town or whatever, I've had to become a lot more intentional on how I stay in contact with my music business peeps. And so I figure a lot of what I do and how I think about it will hopefully be relevant for you, dear climber. So I just want to share some of those ways that I stay in contact without hopefully wearing out my welcome. That way you can do the same thing and keep them smiling when they see you coming.
Love it.
Yes. So you want us to dive on in?
Let's
get into this. All right. So that's the thing. If we're not at music business events consistently, which might be your case because you live out of town or you're just not in, the business to be at those things. If we're not careful, we can fail at the people end of the business in two ways. One, we can go so long between contact that we're just forgotten about, right? I've used the escalator analogy before that I got from a book that I thought was really good.
Before you go into that analogy, can you just repeat how you started this little section right here? Because I never heard it put that way before, and it needs to be repeated.
Okay, so if you're not at music business events consistently, you can fail You can fail at the people end of the business in two ways.
Yes, you can fail at the people end of the business,
which is
if you're not
vital.
Careful.
It's a huge part of the business, any business, but especially this one.
Any business.
Yes.
It's any business.
But in the music business where, it's art, it's subjective. You can't walk up to someone and just prove to them like, this is better because X, Y, and Z. And they go, oh, I guess you're right. I guess we're going to need to go with you, stranger off the street. This is a better product. It's
Uh-huh.
art. It's moving people. So it's people. So, all right. So you can fail by going so long between contact that we're forgotten, which the analogy of it's an escalator. You're standing at the top of an escalator going down. The person that you're in front of right now is standing on the, the level 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the escalator is just taking you down out of their field of vision, away from them, and you go from top of mind to bottom of mind if you don't do anything.
Top of
It
mind to out of sight,
out of sight,
literally.
out of mind,
Mm-hmm.
if you do nothing. So how do I keep walking up that escalator? Be like, hey, it's me again. It takes me back down. Hey, it's me again. It's putting me down. Hey, it's me again. How do you do that in a positive way? So one, you can go so long between contact that you're forgotten. Or two, we only contact them to ask for things. Will you listen to my song? You want to write a song? Will you connect me with so-and-so? Can we go have coffee? Can we do this? Can you do that? Can you help introduce me? All this stuff, right? If you only show up as an ask, you wear out your welcome. So one, you're forgotten. The other one is they want to forget you, basically, because you only show up as a kind of a problem to be solved, or an ask hole, right?
Right.
So this is especially true if you live out of town and you can't just like bump into people around town or be seen at events so that they remember you exist. Like, one of the things about just being out and being at shows, like if you go to the freak show, if you go to these other events or whatever, number one parties or whatever it is, people just see you and like, oh, there's Johnny, he's around. Then they may not even think that, as a sentence in their head, but they see you and like, Johnny,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yep.
And you keep showing up, like, I guess even if they don't know you yet, they're like, I
You
guess that
become
guy's
a
in the
familiar
business.
face.
Familiar face.
Uh-huh.
Like, I've seen you around. I guess you're in the business because I keep seeing you. That can almost legitimize you, even if they don't know who you
So,
are or
on
what you
that
do,
note,
right?
let me interrupt for a second. On that
Mm-hmm.
note, like if you do live in Nashville or close to Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
then you need to be like at the freak show and the porch picker shows,
Mm-hmm.
every week. You need to go there and show your face. You know what I mean? Because there's a boatload of other songwriters, publishers, industry people hanging at the local in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And Porch Pickers happens at the Live Oak. Go to these shows because you know what? Go get the freaking the chicken tenders at the local, like straight up famous, man. They're the best chicken tenders you've ever had. And I mean, I'm realize I'm shilling for the local right now, but I'm not shilling for the local. I'm just saying, like the food is good, man. Go there, grab a bite to eat, listen to some good music, and be seen. If you're
It's
there, you can do that. Like it amazes me when I run into songwriters and they live in Nashville and they've lived there for a
mm-hmm.
decade and they don't know what the freak show is, the porch pickers.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can you not know this? It's one of the highest and
Yeah.
curated songwriter nights that happens every freaking Wednesday
Yeah.
and every Friday, and Porch Pickers I think is every Tuesday. And it's just all of a sudden you become friends with people,
Which, by the way,
and
to step on your side of the street, Johnny, that just goes to prove that you can have a good product and have been having a good product for a while, and there's still people that have never heard of you. By the
yes,
way, by the way, but
yes,
we're not going to make this a Johnny episode. But
no.
you just had yours, and you'll have another one next week, buddy. Wait your
Come on, I
turn.
want to talk some more.
But and actually, a sidebar though, like Freak Show or some of these different things, like if you live out of town, think about, I like to call it a target rich environment. Okay. Like, where can I go that I'm going to get the most bang for my buck? There's going to be the most, people
Yes.
there that I want to see and be seen by. Obviously you have things like number one parties or the ASCAP awards, the BMI awards or whatever, but you may not be able to get into those. The NSAI,
Yep.
you know, the NSAI National Songwriters Awards. You can buy a ticket to that. Everybody's there. You can buy a ticket to the National Songwriter Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Everybody's there. Like, those are like
Mhm.
highly concentrated. Yeah, you got to pay. You may have to get a plane ticket or whatever. But it's like, if you want to go and see and be seen, especially if you have some leverage. If you're a total stranger, no one knows you, it's not really going to do you any good.
Right.
But if you have some connections and you want to show up, that's a great time to show up. Or like the Denmark thing, target
Man,
rich environment. You're stuck with these people. The freak show is a target rich environment, man. I hadn't
so good.
hadn't been to one forever. Last time I was in town, we went out and I saw so many people that I got to meet in Denmark. And so
Yeah.
I like Eric Erdman. I didn't know you were in town. Yeah, man. And all these people that I got to connect with again, and it was great. And so it was like really highly concentrated.
Mm-hmm.
It was target rich
Mm-hmm.
environment. It wasn't like I went out, I didn't really see anybody. Oh well. No, I was like, if I'm going to go out, because I got a family, I could be writing, I could be hanging with them, I could be doing something else. If I'm going to go out, I'm going to try and make it a target rich, highly concentrated
It's got to have
thing.
ROI, return on the
ROI.
time investment, ROTI.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't want to be forgotten. We don't want to be a pest. And it's especially true if you live outside of town. Like, you can't just go out to the local. I can't just go to a show or at a party or see somebody at lunch and like, hey, they see you, and you can just like, hey, buddy, good to see you, man. How you been? As you're walking by to go get your sushi somewhere or whatever. And that's just
Mm-hmm.
like a quick little positive engagement. If you're not bumping into them, then it's like, how do I get in front of that person again if I met them at this thing? Or how do I? It may be natural to just kind of show up as an ask to go,
Uh-huh.
hey, can you go have coffee next time I'm in town? Or can we? It's like, man, we ain't got time for
Kind of
coffee.
take you to lunch,
Can I take you to lunch? It's like,
maybe.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it, but I'm busy. Like, that's a whole nother level, right? But we may be sure how to reach out in those ways and cultivate that relationship. So, I want to share with you some ways that I try to stay in contact with people without asking for things, without being an ask hole. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's mainly through text messages, right? And email. And you may have to do this through social media, depending on how well you know the contact, if you have their phone number, that kind of stuff. But the stuff works pretty much the same in a Facebook message or an Instagram DM, as it does in a text or an email. It's pretty much the
Mm-hmm.
same, something they're going to see.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to lay some of this out and hopefully be helpful for you too. First of all, I measure and I manage it. Well, we've talked about this before, but I have this, a backronym, WRAP, WRAP, write, record, access, and pitch. So I have this WRAP process, and I have my daily habit tracker where I mark every day and for the A under access, this is where this episode falls under. Today is brought to you by the letter A. A for access.
A for
Uh,
Fonzie.
and
Hey.
Fonzie, A. And so in my habit tracker, I either need to get 10 light touches, which is like an email, a text, a bump into somebody, something like that, or like one deep dive, which might be a co-write, a coffee, a songwriting pro event, a song title challenge with a guest, with someone in the biz. So like either 10 light touches or one like significant,
Mm-hmm.
part of the day
Exchange. Yeah.
exchange, and so no, liking their post on Facebook doesn't count. Okay. But I measure this. I mean, I have one notebook on the side of me where I write down names, like who I contacted that day, and I keep a tally. Like, okay, boop, oh, I hit my 10 to get a mark it off my habit tracker. Because if it gets measured, it gets managed. It's always in front of me. So it's, especially if you're out of town, or you're not in the business every day, it's really easy to go
Fail
months
at the people
to
thing.
fail at the people and to get forgotten. I don't want to get forgotten, right? So it reminds me on like a daily basis to reach out to people.
Can I give a shout out to a climber here? Like
Yeah.
a climber, Paul Bergenin.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know him?
Not
Is
well.
he in Songwriting Pro? Like he constantly messages me
Oh,
on
really?
Facebook Messenger,
Uh-huh.
but it's just memes, right? Like funny shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we sit on the same side of the aisle politically, so he'll send me some political stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sometimes just funny stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like I'll get 3 or 4 a week, man.
Yeah.
And about once a week, one of them I'll get so tickled when I get it, like I'll respond. I'll be like, dude, this is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's familiar to me.
Yeah. In a
You
positive
know what I
way.
mean?
Like, you don't hate to see
And
him
kind of
coming.
like sharing this, like entertaining. It's not asking me for anything.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, hey, man, like it's just like a hey, sometimes if I'm having a bad day, I'll save them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm having a bad day, then I'll go look at that because it'll make me smile. You know what I mean? It'll
Yeah.
make me chuckle or whatever, and just lighten the mood or something like that. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's man, it's not. It doesn't feel intrusive. It doesn't feel
Mm-hmm.
if you just hear me say like he messaged me this many times a week, that could go either way, right? But
Yes.
like I love it when he does.
And that's, apparently he's hitting the right note. And
Yeah,
not know what note hits with other people. So it's like, you got
yeah.
to have some familiarity. Of
You
course.
got to be careful with that. Well, he's familiar with me from the podcast,
There we
obviously, so
go.
he
So,
knows my personality. He knows,
mm,
he's going to send me edgy stuff that he thinks I'm going to like.
Mm-hmm.
So he has very intelligently curated the content
There
that
you
I get.
go.
I don't know who else he does this to.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'll bet you it's different content, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he's no dummy, man.
Yeah. That's the thing.
But that's a really good point, Brent. That's a
Yeah,
really good point.
you
Like,
know
know your
that
audience.
audience because
Yeah.
other people, I'm like, stop sending me stuff, dude. Because I get
Yeah.
stuff from people sometimes. I'm like, what is this? This is pointless, or this is just you don't know who you're talking
Yeah.
to, kind of thing,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay,
Or
too
sometimes I
long
get a
did not
message
read.
like, "Hey, what's up?"
Oh my, yeah, or too little. Like that's, are you a bot? What are you? This is not real. Sorry, happily
Delete.
married, and like my hang on to my money. Give it to
Oh my
known
gosh.
charities, not So anyway, another thing is I try to mix it up. So yes, it's tempting to find your couple of comfortable contacts and just reach out to them consistently. But I try to be mindful of going back to older contents or contacts, sorry, that have cooled off a bit and just get my name in front of them on a consistent basis too. Maybe not as common. I'm not going to talk to a lot of people as much as I talk to you, Johnny, or as much as like I text Anthony Oreo or some of my good friends, right? So I suggest making a list of folks that you want to remember you. Like make a list, get a spreadsheet, write
Mm.
it out on paper, do something. Um, Also, I have mine is largely the contacts in my phone. So I go scrolling through the phone sometime and just like, who have I not talked to in a while? Boop. Oh yeah, need to ping them. Somebody had suggested go to the bottom of like your text messages, right? Scroll to
Oh,
the bottom because those are where the oldest ones are. Newest one pops to the top, newest conversations pop to the top, oldest ones are synced to the bottom. It's like just scroll down to the bottom every once in a while and see who you haven't
that
talked to
would
in a
take me
while. And
days, I feel like.
yeah, I can't go all the way to the bottom.
I can't go.
It's like,
I don't
yeah,
understand what that means. You're speaking Chinese to me now. I don't
yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, not a thing. But yeah, because I don't erase, I don't delete very well. But, scroll down for a while and you get to some old stuff, right? You can easily get a couple months back. So, um, anyway, you don't want a good contact to slip through the cracks, so you want to be intentional. There are apps for that will you can put in people's names or whatever, and it will and set the how often you want to be reminded of them. And so,
Mhm.
like, it'd be once a month, once every 3 months. It'd be like, boop, you need to contact these people on your list. They're due. Oh, okay. There are things like that, like Connect Fox or Connection Fox or whatever. There's some different ones, and I don't really have
Mhm.
one I can recommend, but I just kind of do it more just because it's part of my habit, you know. So try to mix it up. So it's not the same 5, 6 people, and those are the only ones you know. You better hope they never all get in a car together or all get on a plane to go somewhere together. Because one 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 bad day and you're completely unrelated to the music business again, right? You want to diversify that portfolio. So here's another thing, and this is a big one. Keep it positive. Like, have you ever had a friend who only calls you when they need something? Like you see their name pop up on your phone and you automatically know, like, oh, I wonder what they want. Right?
You know it's gonna require a significant amount of your energy
Yes.
in that
Yeah.
moment to
Whether just
handle that
emotionally or they
exchange.
need a favor, like, oh, you got a
Yeah.
truck, oh yeah, you need moving. So yeah. So how does it make you feel? Like when that person pops up, Johnny, like how does that make you feel when that person, because we all have them, they only contact you
Yeah.
when they need something or
You know
some
what
sort of
happens? Like
drama.
if I'm in the moment when they need something and get I can't do it right now
Hmm.
for whatever reason. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
in a meeting.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not in a meeting and I just have some downtime
Yeah.
and I can't do this right now. You know what I mean? For
It
my own
shows
freaking
up as a problem, not a
yeah,
solution, right?
exactly.
So you're probably not going to pick it up because you
And
already
an
know.
expense. It's an emotional energy expense
Yes.
that I can't afford.
Hmm.
I have to be able to afford, let's put it this way, that I have to be able to afford to do it.
Yes. Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like an emotional bank account
Hmm.
is going to be a withdrawal from that.
Yeah.
And
Or
I have to have enough in there
mhm.
at the particular time that they text to get back to them. Otherwise, it waits and it could wait a while.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to give them a yes or no on something, and am I prepared to say yes to what, or am I emotionally prepared to say no, which is often uncomfortable, right?
Mhm.
So they're showing up as a problem more so than a solution, and
Yeah.
so it may just makes you feel used. They only call me when they want something. It's a one
Yeah.
sided friendship kind of thing. Well, you don't want to make anyone else feel that way. And hey, I know you're doing them a favor by sending them that incredible song that's going to change their life or make them $1 million, or you're doing them a favor by giving them the opportunity to write a song with you. Yes, I understand that. The truth is,
Except they don't understand that.
they don't see it that way. All right. If they
Yep.
if they did, they'd call you. And we're going to give them opportunity to call us by being in front of them on a positive way to build that relationship. Because odds are, if you aren't already buddies, then they don't think of it as an opportunity. It's a problem.
Yeah.
So you just want to make sure that, asking is not the only way you show up in their day. So here are a few ways that I try to show up as a positive more than a negative. And many more times than I show up as an ask. I'm not saying that like I never ask somebody for a ride or I never, but it's kind of the Gary Vaynerchuk jab, jab, jag, right hook. So give,
Yeah.
give, give, give,
Yep.
ask. That's what I
Yep.
try to do. So when they see me, they think something positive. So one, pitch news. I've talked about this before. So if I pitch a song of ours, I'm gonna probably text you and just let you know, FYI, pitched a song to so and so for so and so. Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not asking for anything. I'm just hopefully giving you a little hope in your day, a little like, oh, maybe like, oh yeah, that is a good song, or hey, Brent's out there working, attaboy, or oh, that'd be great if you got a cut. I should probably pitch that too. Whatever. It's a positive. I'm not asking anything. I'm just letting you know, hey, I like our song, and I'm working. Total
Mm-hmm.
positivity. Who doesn't like to get that?
Mm-hmm.
Would love to get more of those texts. And I don't think many people do that. So you'll stand out, by the way. Either that or nobody ever pitches my songs from their side. One or the other. Either people aren't doing it and I'm the only one, or
You're the one
nobody's
carrying
pitching
the
my
football.
songs. I don't. That scares me. So you can stand out that way. Two is like, heard your song on the radio, dude. Always love this song. Like
Yeah.
I'm blessed to have friends that have songs on the radio, and
Yeah.
I just every once in a while, because I keep doing this, right? I measure it. So it's becoming a way that I think. So I see these opportunities, and I'm always, often throughout the day thinking of opportunities as a way to reach out to somebody. And so I just maybe like Byron Hill, Born Country by Alabama comes on the radio, and I just may text Byron, dude, or take a picture of the in the car or the
Uh-huh.
screen or whatever with the song up. It's like, dude, always love this
Shout
song.
out. It's a big shout out.
It's just
Hey,
a shout
man.
out privately, just like, dude,
Yeah.
heard it. You're making money. It's awesome. What a great song.
Did you
Thanks.
hear that? That's the sound of Byron making money right now.
Yeah. Am I asking for anything? Nope. Not asking for a thing. Just like,
Just thinking about him.
just thinking about you, bud. And it's
Yeah.
honest and sincere because it makes me happy when I'm not having a bitter day. When my when my friends, they get a song on the radio and I hear it,
Mhm.
I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Just happy for you. Three is kudos. So heard somebody bragging on you, or congrats on this nomination, congrats on this cut, congrats on whatever it is, like whatever it might be. So that's where you do kind of stalk them on social media and you're following, right? Because you're interested in them, and you want to be genuine always, but that way you're aware when those things happen. And
Mhm.
so you may be at the level all you can do is post on like Facebook or Instagram or whatever, like, oh, that's awesome, congrats. And a comment goes further than a like. But if you have their email or you have a text, that's much more personal. That helps stand
Mhm.
out. Okay, like birthdays. I mean, Johnny, I'm sure you're like me. Like your feed blows up on your birthday. And I'm just
Oh, yeah.
going through and I'm going like.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
really
hard
have
to keep up
time
with
to
it.
read. And that's a blessing. That's cool that
Yeah.
you have all these people come through and wish you happy birthday. But the ones that really get
It's
my attention are,
overwhelming,
it is,
like,
it's
with
just
love,
overwhelming. And
Yeah.
so, which is great. It feels good. I appreciate it. And so it's not a bad thing to do. But the ones that stand out to me are the texts or the phone calls.
Yep.
Because that's more my inner circle. Even if it's somebody who's I'm not as close to, but they text, I'm like, that takes more energy.
Yeah.
And so I try to be that guy for other people
Yeah.
because it means more. It's like the SEC. It just means more.
Yep.
Another thing is common interest. And so, I have some friends in the business that really mostly we talk about like Razorbacks. We talk about
Yeah.
sports stuff. And
Yeah.
so I have like a group of guys that when it's game day, especially during football season, because there are fewer games, but I'll be texting them, woo pig, go hogs. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That was a close one, or who we got them,
Oh!
like all that stuff, with the gifts and the whatever, all that stuff. So, I mean, I got several guys, like Zane King and Barrett Baber and Lance Carpenter and other folks, that are
Lance
Steve
is
Dean.
from Arkansas?
Yeah. He's from Ozark,
Oh,
Arkansas.
okay.
So, so we kind of find each other, many of us that are, Razorback fans, and poof, and it may even be like, hey, I got some, friends. Somehow I have friends that are Alabama fans, and in spite of that, uh, we're still friends.
In
And
spite of that.
so I may text them about something about Bama. I'm not, of course, we're friends, so we're just busting each other's humps about
Chops,
something,
yeah.
or we're just, busting each other's chops, or we're congratulating, or whatever, like,
I have a couple of friends that are Bears fans, if you can believe that, and there's
it's,
never anything positive about the Bears that comes from me to
yes,
them, but they understand,
they
and vice
understand.
versa,
Yeah, if you got to know the relationship.
Mhm.
But that could be another thing. Like, it might be politics. You mentioned that Paul that text you may text you some stuff that's on the same side of the aisle, right? It
Yep.
may be Bible verses. It may be, just that kind of stuff. Just like,
Uh-huh.
um, could be like, prayers up, man. Like, hey, just think about you today. Just, praying for you and your family. Hope everything's good. If anything you need, let me know. It could be just that. It's just like, oh, that's so nice. Somebody, thinking about me and said a prayer for me. Holidays, of course, but texts mean more than Facebook stuff or whatever. And I'm kind of flying through these, but I want to get you thinking about this. You might even have a checklist like, okay, I'm going to write these down. Pitch news, heard your song, kudos, common interest, holidays, prayers up, and go. And I'm looking at this and looking at my, list of people that I want to stay in contact with and just kind of work through them. Another thing is gratitude, man. So, we had Thanksgiving not long ago. And so it was like the night before Thanksgiving or that day before. And I just started scrolling through my phone contacts and started texting people like sincere gratitude, not like just a copy paste happy Thanksgiving, but like, like Blue Foley. Blue, man,
Mhm.
thank you for taking me to Denmark this year. I met a lot of cool people and I just really appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving. Boom. Or so and so, thanks for writing with me and thanks for, bringing me in to write with so and so, introducing me to so and so, or thank you for whatever, just whatever it is that's sincere and they know it's not a copy paste.
Mhm.
And I did that for, I don't know, for a while, just going through my phone, finding people. And um, for one thing, at the end of that 45 minutes or however long I did that, I felt so good. Like,
Yeah.
because I was just swimming in gratitude for
Mhm.
like 45 minutes, just
You
thanking
can't help
people.
but,
And
be uplifting for you
oh,
immediately.
I was in such a good mood. I was so thankful. I was like, wow, look at all these things I have to be thankful for. And I think it meant, based on some responses I got, meant something to some of those people too. But you talk about showing up in a positive way. That's just showing up in a positive way. Um, and so, I don't track all my contacts for like ratio of give to ask, but I try to show up consistently as a give, as a positive vibe, and not as an ask all the time. And so I'm hopefully training all my contacts to think good things when they think of me. And hopefully, Climber, you're going to do the same thing. It's not disingenuous. It's being consistently genuine, to make sure that you don't, because we all get busy. They're busy, you know, as we talked about in the proximity principle, nobody's sitting on their back porch thinking, how can I help so-and-so get, their dreams come true? I'm the only
Mhm.
one thinking about that. So how can I put just myself in a positive way? And when you stay, it's building a relationship. And when something comes along, when you do, right hook, when you do have an ask, they're much more likely to say yes because they feel some reciprocity. Like, he's a good dude, man. He's just been around for a while. He never asked me for anything. I'm gonna help him out. Or, hey, actually, hey, glad to hear from you. This opportunity just popped up and I thought of you. Why did I think of you? Because you just popped up in my phone. Hey, you'd be a
Mhm.
good fit for so and so. Or, hey, I just had a cancellation. You want to get on the books? Because good things like that might happen where it comes to you. But anyway, that's what I wanted to share today is how to remain and keep those contacts warm without wearing out your welcome. How to keep your contacts warm without burning them out, I guess might be another way to say it. Before we go, I know because we're about to hop on a song title challenge here, which is going to be fun. But I want to share something with you and to hopefully show up in a positive way for you, Climber. It is a free ebook and it's also an audio download. It's called 6 Simple Ways to Make Your Songs More Commercial. And you can get that for free at my website, 6 simpleways.songwritingpro.com. That is 6 simpleways.songwritingpro.com. Just share some easy ways to make your songs, like help you write songs that artists want to sing and fans want to hear. So that's my gift to you through songwritingpro.com. That's what I got.
I love it. So that brings us to the end of another Killer Climb episode, y'all. Make sure that you join the Climb community. Make sure that you follow or subscribe to the podcast wherever you consume podcasts, and make sure you tell a friend about it. This podcast exists because we want you to win, so keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.